Morning and thank you for joining us on the Tuesday edition of TVC Breakfast. I am Veronica Danny-Goy.
Well, good morning, Nigeria. There's a lot to talk about on the show today, from trending to FCT brief and a lot of in-depth interviews. I am Ria Abdul.
Good morning, Nigeria. My name is Olamide Odekule, and I am so pleased that you're choosing to spend your morning here with us on the TVC Breakfast Show.
Absolutely. Good morning. Blessed is the man among the women. It's quite nostalgia. It's a nostalgia for me, you know, just being here on this table with the women, because it reminds me of growing up amidst the bevy of beauties. So it's reliving that moment.
To call your name, right?
My name is Ibrahim Shita.
Good morning.
I think the magic is superb. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Good morning. We have mentioned that we have an array of issues we'll be looking at this morning. Of course, beginning with the ban on single-use plastic, what it means for Nigeria and Nigerians, and how we can also integrate Nigerians to being part of the policing process in Nigeria. Then we'll also look at stories from the front pages of our papers this morning, as well as stories that are trending now. But let's begin with the story where the Nigeria police force has rescued a Ghanaian national, Samad Iddrisu, who was trafficked into Nigeria under false pretenses of obtaining travel documents for migration to Europe. The operation was carried out by the Interpol's National Central Bureau in Abuja and in close collaboration with the FCT Command operatives. Force Public Relations Officer ACP Olumuyiwa Dejobi mentioned that the rescue followed intelligence shared by Interpol NCB Accra in Ghana. Investigations revealed that Samad's father was defrauded in January by a trafficker who fraudulently collected 55,000 Ghana cedis with a fake promise to secure a French visa. The police say efforts are now underway to arrest the traffickers involved and ensure justice is served. Indeed, Nigerians are waiting to see how that will happen, because a number of persons have been defrauded in this manner, all because people want to travel. Has it become a crime, really?
Well, I'll tell you that this has been happening over and over again when it comes to a lot of Ghanaians coming to Nigeria. They'll tell you, they'll tell you sports. They always mention sports or travel. So if you want to travel, you have to pass through Nigeria, and then they collect money, and then they bring these people. When they bring these people, they confiscate everything from them and then now force them to do what they're not supposed to do. Now, my problem is, even with the father speaking, why don't we do proper research before we take a leap? Sometimes we say that
some people do not want to go through the trouble.
But if you don't go through that trouble, you go into more trouble, and that's the trouble they get into when they finally get here. Because we hear a lot of offers like that. Even while I was in Ghana, some people, like, sometimes even if they'll send you messages, you know, you can come to Alata, because they call Nigeria Alata, you know, there's work in Alata, but when you come here, what you see is not what you get. So even on Ghanaian TV, we've been saying it a lot of times, that when you see offers like this, they look juicy, but you need to do your research. You need to be sure of what you're coming for. The father was defrauded. You know, he was defrauded. Did he go through a research when they told him that this is what they want to do for his son? So when things like this happen, I do not just blame only, you know, the parents. I also blame the children too as well. Like, you are old enough, you are sensible. Somebody cannot bring a deal to you and you do not research. This is not the first time. I told you in June, 46 Ghanaians were rescued. That they brought them here on the fact that you will travel or will take, you will play false pretense.
It's sad, Olamide, that we are still seeing these kinds of things. Man's inhumanity to man. But what's your perspective?
I think it's very worrisome when you see people try to profit off desperation and hope. These people want to go to greener pastures, and you have people who are profiting off of that desperation. I think, like Rhea said, this has happened before. It's not the first time. It will keep happening. I think what we need to do is to get to the crux of the matter. And for me, that is, why are people constantly trying to leave, and why are they so desperate to do so? We need better cross-border intelligence. We need better regional cooperation, so people aren't getting defrauded like this. It's very, very sad. And I'm very happy that you found work in Alata.
Before we even come to Ibrahim, I'll tell you something. I don't think there's a problem with people leaving. I left. Your comfort zone, you never get anything out of your comfort zone. So if you feel like you have to leave, just do it the right way. Do your research.
Absolutely.
Before I came, I did a lot of research.
But you have to understand that as much as these people are going to do research to travel, the defrauders are also doing research. They're making themselves look like legit business
I like the fact that you brought that up.
Putting themselves together.
All right, Ibrahim.
Right. So one thing is, just as you guys had already, pointed out, one thing is people are always seeking greener pastures. They want to go to the better. You call
migration is part of life.
Alata means what?
No, it's just a saying how they call Nigeria.
So making Nigeria look like Nigeria is a very big place, just like Europe. Yeah, of course we're getting there.
But honestly, it is actually.
It is actually what it is. But the thing is, when you think about Nigeria, you think about other countries. You think about. So we are having this happen in Libya. Some people go to Libya, or some will be thinking, they want to get to Europe. They go through Libya, go through some of the Middle East, and then they fall into problem and they traffic them. They even harvest organs of some of their victims. So kudos to Interpol for doing this, because you guys had already said everything. But one thing is, I'll say kudos to Interpol, kudos to the Nigerian police, kudos to the security agencies, and then they just need to ensure that collaboration is strong. Because one thing is, when people begin to realize that yes, they will run into problem coming to Nigeria, it's bad business, bad market, and bad imaging for the country.
I believe and hope that they face the full wrath of the law. We'll take a breather now, and when we return, it will be time for the newspaper review. Stay with us.